Hello, and welcome to the 150% Woke Podcast, the best podcast in the Western Hemisphere.
I'd say so.
And Eastern.
I'd say probably best podcast in Oceania. I'd limit it down to that.
Yeah, I think I can say with fair confidence it's in the top 17.
Yeah, I think so.
So hello, listeners. Again, we're back bi-weekly or fortnightly.
Fortnightly. Not weekly. Not yet, at least.
No. You may notice, as you're listening, there's no accompanying, how do you say that word?
That's it, I think, right?
Accompanying?
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
There is no accompanying video.
Well, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Pod, there's not gonna be any video anyway. There's never any video. But if you're listening on YouTube...
But yeah, that's what I meant. I actually got an email from Apple Podcast, and it was like, "Dear Creator." I was like, shit.
What did it say? What was it about?
I didn't read the email.
Oh.
I just saw it pop up on my notifications.
And you were just like, dear, and you felt special.
Read that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It said, "Dear Creator." I was like, yeah, that's
Well, we do create. We create, and we attempt to put it out there.
There's a lady at my work, and today she came in with this... it was like a cylinder... okay, oh god, what's wrong with me saying words today?
Cylinder.
It was a cylindric...
No.
Just a cylinder?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know what cylindric means. Is it just like a...
Oh, well, it's a cylinder shape.
Okay.
So...
Well, just
okay, anyway, she came with a fucking wire cage that was a cylinder. And, it was all decorated, like, she just got this wire cage, like, it was about, like, oh, okay, we don't have a video, it was about,
still getting used to this, guys.
half a meter high, and, like, okay, anyway, it doesn't
What
matter.
was it?
It was, like, she decorated it with, like Christmas things, and it was, like, had this stick in the middle. It was kind of like a bird cage, but it had Christmas things in it. It was, like, really creative.
Was it a bird cage?
Well...
I don't even know what the fuck it was.
It was like a Christmas decoration that she'd made, but it was like in the style of a bird cage, but it had Christmassy things around it.
I don't see the point, personally. It's pretty big for like a decoration.
Well, what's the point of an ornament? Like,
to hang on the tree and make the tree look nice.
Yeah, but it's like, say, but what about the wreath that people put on the front door?
What's the wreath? Like the mistletoe?
No, the circle
What's a wreath?
thing.
That's the mistletoe.
No, the mistletoe is the little fucking
there's like a circle thing and it's made out of leaves, right?
Okay, Hopper, Jesus.
Is that mistletoe?
No, it's a Christmas wreath. You know how, like, they lay wreaths, right?
No, I have no fucking clue what a wreath is.
A mistletoe is like a little flower that they hang, and it was like a way for, like, men to sexually harass women like 100 years ago, I guess. I don't know.
I think
it was
so.
like if they walked under it, you could grab them and kiss them. And I was like, shouldn't have stepped under the mistletoe.
Okay, I guess so.
Okay, so anyway, what was the point of the story? She made this thing, and I was like, wow. I was like, I could never in a million years, like... create something like that.
I could.
Yeah, I know you could.
Yeah, I'm creative.
I'm like I'm a creative thinker, but I'm not a creative doer. Like I've realized this about myself. I'm an intellectual person. I'm not good with practical things. So if it's like
I'm the
make
opposite.
something creative, I can't do it. But if you want me to like think about it and come up with a creative solution, I can do that. Yeah. That's
why I feel like when we were like in where was it, Napier, and we were gonna do an escape room, I feel like that's why we would do so well together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is something about like complementary skills.
Yeah, because you've got like the intellectual thinking, and I've got like the doing part of it. So
yeah, and you need a bit of that doing, because the problem is people that are too
indecisive.
Like, well, it's not necessarily indecisive.
Nah,
you can't overthink.
Yeah.
Like, there's a time for just like start doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, that was well, we sort of have a topic today. Well, we do have a topic.
Yeah, we do.
And why don't you tell them what the topic is then?
Well, I don't think there's a specific topic, but the general theme of this episode was trying to be Christmas in New Zealand, and that was kind of what I thought. And it's kind of a weird topic because Christmas in New Zealand is very different to other countries. Like,
yes,
most of the world, you get snow. We get blazing heat. We're in, like, summer, and it gets really hot. And for New Zealanders, I think Christmas is they think of like beach, like outdoor, like cricket. You know what I mean? Cricket, rugby, barbecues. But then like for Europe, it's so different. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Europe and North America, you're quite right. I mean, it's the opposite season.
What about Asia? Does Asia get snow?
Well, but I don't really think they celebrate Christmas per se. Most Asian countries, I mean, I don't know a lot about this, but I think their New Year's...
Shout out Asia.
Asia. Well, like, for, like, Chinese New Year, for example, right? Yeah. Like, that's like, their big thing, right? And they do Lunar New Year's, I believe, a lot of Asian countries. So they're not... It's not like, you know, we're like December 31st, that's New Year's Eve, and then January 1st. On a lunar calendar, it changes every year, right? Like, slightly, depending upon. So I think they do a lot more religious and religiously based New Year's things.
That's their big thing.
In Asia, well,
it's a very hot country. Well, I mean, most of Asia's pretty damn hot.
Asia's massive. I mean, if you're talking about Asia, you're going
no. I mean, like, Mongolia, let's say like
to like
Japan,
the south, like fucking Bangladesh. That's like a big fucking place.
Yeah, true. Asia's huge. Japan, they don't get snow in like Japan.
Yeah, well, they do. They have mountains. Yeah, they have like ski resorts and stuff.
Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
Is that still a mountain?
Yeah. That is.
There we go.
That's like the
social
big
studies taught me something.
You know, Mount Fuji looks similar, speaking of links to New Zealand, to Mount Taranaki. You know, that's like a single mountain in the middle, you know, like down in New Taranaki, right? They've got that big...
Have we seen it? I remember Mount Maunganui. No? Mount Rangitoto? No? What's the one we What's the one we skied down? Ruapehu. Rangitoto and Ruapehu, they always get confused. Rangitoto is the volcano in Auckland, guys. For a bit of knowledge on New Zealand, there's a volcano in Auckland called Rangitoto, and I believe is it dormant, active?
It's dormant, but it could erupt at any time.
So we're basically fucked if it...
And like the nicest houses in Auckland are like...
I know, right next to... I was always so scared when I was a kid. There was like a phase of like 2 months where every time before I'd go to sleep, I thought a volcano was going to happen. Because of the volcano room in the museum.
Well, you know what it's like? You know, White Island, which I'm sure a lot of people internationally have heard of. I mean, that was the same thing.
Right at the very... Is it very south of New Zealand?
No. I'm not exactly sure. It's more off... It's on the North Island, I'm pretty sure, but it's like off the
Is that the one that had the eruption?
Yeah. That was a bit different than Rangitoto in the sense that I would say that was an active volcano. Okay. So it like, because I saw like travel shows that went there, and it was like friggin' steam coming out and shit. Right. Like Rangitoto isn't like that. It's like dormant. I think you're right. It's like it's not actively volcanic,
but it could.
But it could just do a massive fucking eruption.
That would be so fucking sick, bro.
I think it'd be amazing.
That'd be so cool. And then like, because I'm not gonna say where I live. Almost just say where I live, but like we'd get ash, but I don't think we'd get. Like,
no, we wouldn't get like incinerated.
What about you living here?
Well, we're a lot closer, but we're on the opposite.
Yeah,
I think we'd be okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we
get a lot of ash.
Yeah. You gotta. The main thing about that
lock your windows.
Yeah. You don't want to breathe that shit in because it's like molten, like metal and silica.
That's why if a volcano erupts, you just need to like lock all your shit, close the. Like, because lava's not going to get very far.
Yeah, but but that's the thing. You think about lava, but those poor people on White Island, I mean, I don't want to go into the detail, but I mean, they kind of died horrific deaths, and it wasn't that they got hit by lava.
They just, like, suffocated.
Or boiling, like, water around it and stuff. It was fucking horrific, man.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know.
I would not want to. But anyway, summer in New Zealand, it's pretty fucking
aside
different.
Aside from the occasion volcanic eruption...
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm sure you guys in Europe don't get that much volcanic eruptions.
No, well, they did have the Icelandic volcano. That was quite a while ago now. But they did have, like, Iceland's the same, right? There's a lot of active or dormant or whatever, and this fucking thing erupted and they couldn't
I didn't
fly.
Understand that, how they would name Iceland. And it was so, like, green and, like, farmlandy. And then there's fucking Greenland, and it's, like, covered in ice.
Yeah, but Iceland isn't green and farmlandy. Iceland is primarily like
is it?
Fucking mountainous.
I swear, Iceland. Iceland. Henceforth shall call it Iceland.
Iceland. Yeah.
No, we get a few volcanoes down here. We've got actually quite a few. Lake Taupo.
Yeah,
that was a volcano, right?
Yeah.
The whole lake was like...
Well, that's right. And they had a recent, I say recent, like in the last 100 years, there was an amazing, like, natural wonder of the world. And if you're not from New Zealand, you guys probably haven't heard of this. It was known as, you can Google it, the pink and white terraces. And it was at that stage in history where I think there aren't really any photographs of them. Certainly no photographs in color, but there are paintings that people have done. And don't ask me exactly how they were formed, but they're a geological formation. They were layers of pink and white, like this amazing like rock formation. It was like
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, but they were destroyed from a volcanic eruption.
Right.
And they just they fucking...
You know, volcanoes can do some damage, man. They don't give a fuck.
Hawaii as well, one of the big islands.
Yeah.
Like, just the whole fucking island was fucked, man. They
I don't know about living on a small island, because you could get a lot of shit happening, right? Like, think about, like, Hawaii.
Yeah, but it's one of those weird things, though, isn't it? Like, the Hawaii one's a good example. Like, okay, it's a beautiful place. For fucking hundreds of years, nothing significant's happened on that particular island that erupted. And then it erupts, so you're like...
It's worth it.
Well, I kind of think it is. What are the fucking odds, man?
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I guess everybody has to make their own determination of that. Like, if I told you, okay, Rangitoto is going to erupt sometime in the next 2,000 years, like 90% chance, I'm just making these numbers up. Like, would you live right on that prime real estate? If you're like, well, it's going to happen sometime in the next 2,000 years.
May as well take
Could be in 3 years. It could be in like 800 years.
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows?
That's actually a long time. When you think about like 2,000 years, it doesn't sound like much.
Well,
but like
it's not.
The world's only... Well, that's retarded. Why the fuck did I say that? Like, mankind has only... No, but that's not really true either. It's like after Christ, right? After BC and then AC and all that shit.
Do you know what we watch? And I definitely recommend any like teenagers or people that don't know a lot about this to check it out. On Netflix, there's this thing about they found this tomb of, like in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is like the age of these things. These things are like 4,000 and 5,000 years old. So like think about finding anything that a human created from 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. So this is like...
And we're in like 2020, which is 2020.
2,000 or 3,000 years before Jesus Christ was around. Like a long fucking time ago. And the thing that's amazing is like the beauty of these things that they made. Like their artifacts, their paintings, their carvings, and they're so well preserved.
The golden tombs.
Well, because of the climate, because it's so fucking dry and hot. There's no humidity.
How do they get gold in Egypt? I swear it's just all desert.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen images of the like sarcophaguses or like their coffins that they put the mummies in with gold, but I don't know if it's actual gold or gold coloring. I mean,
that's a bit pussy if you're like, oh, I'm gonna bury my king in like metal with gold like plating. Oh no, actually, if it's a gold plating.
I mean, I think most of the coffins, because I've just watched this special. Anyway, I think it's called... I'm not going to pronounce it right, but it's anyway, it's a recent Netflix special. You can Google it, about them finding this tomb of this guy. And they thought...
Are they still in the tombs?
Yeah.
They've been mummified, right?
Well, yeah, and the thing is with the tombs, it would be like for a very important person. So like, in the UK, the equivalent of like a lord or a like
King,
a duke. Okay, it would be something like that stature. So there's not many of these type of people that would have
King, queen, or was that like not even?
Well, definitely, yeah. I think the thing is the equivalent of like
Duke of Edinburgh.
Well, yeah, the equivalent there was like the priest, right? Because, and I don't know a lot about this. This is just from my like general knowledge, so I stand to be corrected, listeners. But my understanding is like the Egyptians, the kings or the rulers, the pharaohs. That's what they were called, the pharaohs, right? Their closest advisors were the people that were like, they knew so much about the stars and geometry and like you know what I mean, like mathematics and mathematics
all the
and
smart
the stars.
people.
Yeah, that's right. And so that they would make the pharaohs look good because they would be able to.
They'd be like, "Hey, bro, say this in front of like 10,000 people to make you look smart."
Yeah, that's right. Or this is going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, I guess I bet you. I was gonna say Donald Trump probably has one of those, but he's just fucking dumb either way. Like if someone is telling Donald Trump to say smart things, they're doing a really shit job at it.
Well. Okay, see, the thing is, that's actually an interesting comparison because these pharaohs, right, their way of showing that they were gods, because that's what they were gods, right, is that, like, to their people, is that if you could say to your people, in 3 days, the moon will be full in the sky, and then it happens, these people will be fucking amazed, right? So, like, the people that could make those predictions,
I would see them as a god if I didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, that's
I'd be like, whoa. Person control moon.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's exactly, what it was. And you know what's really interesting? This is one thing I learned from this documentary that I never ever knew about the Egyptians before. I had no idea.
Sorry, can I cut you off? I just want, for now, from like the past, how many episodes we've done, and leading onwards, I want someone to keep a compilation of how many times you're going to recommend a show or something that's like you're gonna recommend. Oh, go check this out.
Okay, so are you saying that I shouldn't talk about it anymore?
No. I like it. I'm just wanting people to keep track because I want to see and like.
I will tell you this thing that I learned because I never heard this before, and it was brand new information to me about Egyptians just in general, right? The pyramids, all that stuff, right? You know how you will have seen images in textbooks and on the internet of these scenes that they find inside these tombs and inside these
like
pyramids.
The paintings and
That's
stuff.
right, yeah. And I always thought, wow, these Egyptians, they had such an amazing kind of lifestyle for the time, and look at all the...
It's probably such like a shit lifestyle. It
was. And do you know why I thought, and I think like a lot of people probably think, they were very prosperous and they had lots of wealth and they had amazing agriculture.
All the wealth went to the pharaohs, bro.
Even the pharaohs, right? It wasn't like that. What they thought, they really firmly believed, and the reason they did all these mummies and these pyramids and all this kind of stuff and these tombs and all this, right, is they thought our lives are total shit, but what we have to try to do is do everything we can so that when we die, we're going to go to this amazing place. So all their images that you've seen,
that's fucking mind-boggling.
That's their image of the afterlife. That's not their life that they lived. Even it's the pharaohs.
So weird that, like, the fact that we live and when we die, that's it. In our like brains, we can't comprehend what's past death. Right? No one knows. Like, there's people. Like, there is people that have died and came back, but, like, they could just be making up bullshit. No one knows.
Well,
I have seen that video that you saw me.
Yeah.
But, like, they could just be making it up, and no one truly knows, like, for sure what's after death. And then for our brains and our human capabilities, that's it. That's the end of everything. But then these people are, like, building their lives up.
Their whole society. Exactly. That's what blew my mind.
It's a bit weird.
That's what blew my mind is like their whole society. And I mean, I could go on more about the tomb, but I won't. About how they designed it. They had a special door so their spirit could go through. Like, the whole thing was designed to make sure that they could.
Actually.
It is a little bit, but you know what I was thinking as well? After that, I was thinking about it. I was going, shit, man, if they could see us now, just the average person in the Western world, like, this would be like greater than they could have ever imagined their version of the afterlife.
Yeah.
So like it is weird to think, okay, yes, I know it's, let's say let's just round it up and say 5,000 years from then, right?
Yeah. Well, it's weird how like they build their whole life up to die. Which is like crazy to the fact that like we try prevent death as much as possible.
I know. It did kind of blow my mind. Because not only the fact that I thought to myself, wow, they were... Because it's understandable the conclusion to draw, because those pyramids are still there. Like that Sphinx, the Sphinx that you've seen, that cat, right? You're like, wow, okay, look what these people did with like no modern technology. Their whole lives must have been amazing.
And they built like pyramids and shit.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't even like do that now, and we have like...
I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, it is very impressive what they did, but
did the Egyptians
all that.
Build the pyramids?
Yeah, well, I mean...
You know how long that would have taken?
Oh, yeah.
That would have taken so long. They're so big.
Yeah.
And there's, like, rocks, like, huge that they got to put on there.
Well, and their lifespans as well, Like, I mean... Oh, look, I don't know. Again, I'm getting a little bit out of my depth there in terms of what I know. But let's just say, for example... if you survive past being a baby, because, in the olden days, a lot of people died like either in childbirth or very young, like under 2 years old. So kind of if you survive to be like 2 or 3, okay, you decent chance you might make it to be an adult. Yeah. But even then, I mean, a lot of people died at like by the time they were like 30, just from like disease, and like they didn't have
didn't have anything.
Like. You know, it's like they had hard lives. And imagine if your job was building a fucking pyramid every day. I mean, Christ. I mean, that's going to, like, take a toll on you.
It doesn't really do much. What does a pyramid do?
I mean, if you had to, like, haul fucking massive stones every day for your whole life.
I know, but, like...
No, but again, it's a monument, right? It's like a monument to the gods and the heavens. It's all... Yeah, it is kind of it does kind of blow your mind.
Like, it's just the fact that they, like, brought rocks so big up to the top of the pyramid. Like, and they had no technology.
No, they didn't. But the one thing that they did have is math.
People.
Yeah, they did. I'm put out my depth here, but supposedly loads of slaves and loads of manpower, like loads of people.
Oh, yeah.
But they couldn't do it without math. You know, like the golden ratio and all these geometry. Like,
it's weird because like 100 years ago. Sorry, pardon me. Not even 100 years ago. Say like 300 years ago.
Yeah, right? 300 years ago, so that'd be like 1700.
Right. Yeah. Everything was so different. So do you think 300 years from now, everything is going to be so different? Or do you think it's going to be like not as drastic of a change from 1700?
Well, you know what's interesting? That's an interesting question, especially 300 years, like 1700.
Because that's like quite a long time.
My initial reaction to that is... humans aren't a lot different in our outlooks and our values than 300 years ago, but the world that the humans were living in is quite... okay, let's just say it's vastly different. But people, I mean... I don't know. I mean, I would say 100 years ago isn't that people weren't that much different in their attitudes to 300 years ago. That's interesting for me.
Like, their attitudes don't really change.
Let's say like early 1900s, around the 20s, you know, when we went down Napier, like that kind of time period, people's attitudes and their values and all that I don't think was a heck of a lot different in the preceding 100 or 200 years before that. But what's interesting to me is like, so 100 years ago had a lot more in common with the 200 or 300 years prior. But for us now, our society's values, man, it's a lot different from like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like from when I was a kid, let's just say 30 years ago.
What were your values?
Well, in society's values, I mean, I guess
fucking
just...
eat, sleep, shit, play?
No, you mean me personally, or you mean like...
No, you personally, what were your values?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess very similar to yours, I suppose.
Trust me, they weren't.
Why do you say that?
No reasons. Just a bit of a different person, me and you.
No, but...
I wish I knew you when you were like my age.
Yeah, we would... Yeah, I was a very different person at your age. I
feel like I'd be more similar to Mum than I was to you.
Yeah, I wasn't as high-strung as me, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Or neurotic. But I was definitely like quieter, kind of. I was a bit of a class clown like you.
Yeah.
But not to the same extent.
I'm not a class clown.
Oh.
Not in my class.
No.
I kind of just keep to myself in class, really.
Yeah.
I kind of just like sit and I just like talk to like people around me and that's it.
I could see us being friends, even though we're quite... Like, I had friends that were quite different to me, like, personality-wise. They were, like, a lot more outgoing. Like, you're a lot more...
I feel like having friends that are completely different to you is actually a good thing, though.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it can... you can see things about yourself and your interactions with them that you're like, oh, actually, I didn't realize. Where you're around people that are, like, just pretty similar to you, have similar interests, and
it's just
similar ways of going... Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean... 25 minutes.
I think that's good. A couple of I think that's a good. Well, it wasn't as much about Christmas as we thought it was, but I think it was a good discussion.
No, yeah, it was. Hopefully. More about the world and the world around us.
Yeah, that Egyptian thing was trippy ass.
The phenomenon.
You know what we'll do?
Phenomenons.
Why don't we include a link? Seeing as how we've done some links, why don't we include a link to the Netflix documentary?
Netflix.
Sorry, did I say Netflix? Netflix. If anybody's interested, check it out. I believe it's about an hour long-ish, and it's very recent. It just came out this year. Really fascinating.
I prefer Trailer Park Boys. Check that out.
Well, you can why don't we put a link to that as well? Although that doesn't really.
They know Trailer Park Boys. If you don't know Trailer Park Boys, then I don't know you or want to know you.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Fine. That's our two. They're
Bye, people.
That reflects the differences in our interests and personalities, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, as always. We're going to try to get the video on soon. I thought we promised to have video, but Hopper tells me we
never promise anything. I've learned one thing from this podcast: don't promise anything.
Yeah, I live in hope. You know,
to be fair, we were pretty busy, so
yes, true.
Let's just hope and pray. Next week we have a video.
Yes.
We have a TikTok. We have all that sort of stuff.
All the stuff. Yeah.
All the goodies.
In the meantime, thanks for sticking with us, guys. We really appreciate your support and your
shot butter.
All right, over and out.
Later.
Sue.
Duh.
Sue.
Duh.